June 10th, 1944. The Allies have landed in Normandy, and what Hitler calls Festung Europa is now under attack. The Allied invasion was expected to happen this summer. However, is this really the main attack? Well, in any case, the beachheads must be contained. The Allied foothold has expanded in the past 4 days, and now the hills around Salò are in the front line. The Germans cannot afford to let the Americans break out to the south. Therefore, the line north of Salò must be held at all costs. Your 3rd Fallschirmjäger Division was already in the area, and will now set up positions on the hills in front of Salò, together with the 352nd Infantry Division. The hills are perfect for defense. However, additional measures must be taken, because we can't defend the entire region with the available manpower. The enemy is approaching from the north. Our best bet is to set up in the village of Saint-Georges-d'Elle, which lies on a hill of its own and is therefore the perfect place to defend. Set up your line making sure the enemy is being funneled into your killing zones, and make sure you defend your AT guns against flanking maneuvers by enemy infantry. Reinforcements are on the way, but owing to overwhelming Allied air supremacy, they will take some time to get here, if they get here at all. Now, it's time for your baptism of fire. Hals- und Beinbruch. August 1944. After the American breakthrough at Salò, Avranches has now fallen into American hands. If they are allowed to continue marching west and south from there, the Germans will lose whatever control they had over the Normandy situation, and the entire front will become impossible to contain. For this reason, and because Hitler told them to, the German High Command orders a counterattack in the direction of Avranches, hoping to cut off the Allied advance. This counterattack, known as Operation Luttich, is to cut into the Allied flank around Mortain. The aim is to retake Avranches as soon as possible. You're a panzer commander from the 116th Panzer Division, and your battalion is attached to Kampfgruppe Schake for this mission. This spearhead is under the command of the 2nd Panzer Division and has orders to push to the west. You have orders to advance and take Le Mesnil-Tauve, take the village, and secure the area. The Panzer Grenadiers of KG Zander from the 116th Panzer Division will advance on the village of Chercheret-les-Roussels at the same time. Be ready to assist if they have any trouble. For now, make sure you get there and secure your flanks as you move along. There is little or no information on enemy disposition, so it's up to your ability to use the Auftragstaktik, or in other words, your tactical insight and improvisation skill to achieve your goals. Move out immediately, establish contact with the Panzer Grenadiers, and wait for further instructions. Good luck. August 1944. The German counterattack at Mortain has failed to achieve its goals, and the Allies are breaking out of the bridgehead. Slowly, the situation becomes very serious for the 7th Army and the 5th Panzer Army. The threat of encirclement is real, but even now, Hitler demands new counterattacks in the direction of Avranches. Von Kluge thinks they should retreat to avoid encirclement. Hitler replaces him with Model. A few days later, Hitler finally approves a retreat east. But around Falaise, the remnants of no less than 14 divisions, including yours, are already being pushed back into a pocket. And the few roads east from Falaise are constantly under attack by Allied aircraft and artillery. High Command has concluded that a breakout can only be attempted at night. In this mission, the plan for you and the 3rd Fallschirmjäger Division is to break out of the encirclement, divided into small groups. You will command one group, and you are tasked to infiltrate and push through the Allied lines while creating some big distractions to get their attention. Your first assignment is to find a way for the division to cross the River Dives. This river is very deep, and we can't get all of our equipment across unless you find us a ford or a bridge that is not guarded by the enemy. Once you have found a suitable place to cross the Dives, report to the 3rd Fallschirmjäger Division Command, after which further instructions will be issued. Good luck. December 20th, 1944. Just 4 days ago, the Germans have sprung a big surprise by mounting a massive offensive in the Ardennes. The front had been static for a while, and no action was expected. But right now, in a sudden lunge toward the town of Antwerp, German armored columns push west, covered by bad weather. They know very well that they must capture Allied fuel quickly though, because their own fuel allocation is extremely tight. It remains to be seen whether it's going to be enough to cover the distance to Antwerp. However, the bad winter weather works in favor of the attackers, keeping Allied air power grounded. For a few days, the offensive moves west without much resistance in most places. But then, the 116th Panzer Division reaches the town of Samre. In this mission, you will lead the spearhead of this 116th Panzer Division. You are advancing toward the towns of Samre and Duchamp. The disposition of enemy units is unknown. What we do know is that we desperately need the fuel the Americans have stocked in Samre if we want to achieve any of our offensive goals. Our scouts report that the road ahead is blocked, so it seems the Americans know that Samre is important to us. Because our tanks are already almost out of fuel, you have orders to eliminate the roadblock with limited resources. First, you must destroy the enemy's communications center to prevent the enemy artillery from targeting us. Remember, if you want to get our tanks to move again, you'll have to take control of Samre first. Good luck. It is now 1945, and for the Germans, the new year has started with some bad news. The Ardennes offensive is grinding to a halt. The Germans are still very badly hampered by fuel shortages, and all along the front line, Allied forces have taken the initiative. The weather has improved too, so the Allied air forces once more rule the sky above the Ardennes. It looks like things have taken a turn for the worse for you and the 3rd Fallschirmjäger Division as well. Slowly but surely, the front line moves east again, and if nobody calls a stop to this, the gains of December will have been lost. You are now in Thirimont, where the Americans are expected to attack soon. It will be your mission to stop them. You and your men have been sent forward from the 3rd Fallschirmjäger Division Reserve as replacements for the losses which the 9th Regiment has suffered. The 9th Regiment has orders to hold the line at Thirimont itself, which is a key position that dominates the area. You are to defend this position and, where possible, support the defenders at the neighboring hill when and if the Americans attack. We might be able to get you some armored support at some point, but right now a handful of AT guns is all we can spare. So, prepare to defend the village and await further orders. Good luck. It is now April 1945. A few weeks ago, the Ludendorff Bridge at Remagen was captured intact. The Americans seized the opportunity to cross the Rhine River immediately, and despite fanatical counterattacks, they have expanded their bridgehead on the east bank. The British and US forces also crossed the Rhine at Wesel 2 weeks later. In the weeks that follow, the British and American spearheads move further inland. On the 1st of April, the Allies take Lippstadt. In doing so, Army Group B becomes encircled completely. The stage for the Battle of the Ruhr pocket has been set. However, the remnants of the 15th Army and the 5th Panzer Army still boast more than 300,000 German troops in the Ruhrkessel, and they intend to fight to the last. You and the 116th Panzer Division have been directed to the area south of Iserlohn. Your first problem is the wide area over which your troops have been dispersed in the chaos of the past few days. They're literally everywhere, which makes it impossible for them to act as a unit. You are tasked with restoring order here. You should rally all available troops and see whether you can find any supplies and equipment that was abandoned during yesterday's fighting before you can even think about any coordinated actions. Use your experience to make the most of this difficult situation. Do not despair. Wonder weapons will soon tip the balance of the war in our favor. Good luck.